You slept 8 hours, maybe even 9. But when you opened your eyes this morning, you felt like you hadn't rested at all, like something heavy was still sitting on your chest. You lay there for a minute, maybe longer, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body feels this way. Because you did everything right. You went to bed on time. You weren't on your phone. You even felt tired when you lay down. But now, in the morning, it's like your mind never stopped working. Like some part of you was still awake all night, doing something you can't remember. And you can't figure out why sleep doesn't fix it anymore. Why rest doesn't feel like rest. Why mornings feel like you're waking up into something unfinished. This isn't about sleep schedules. It's not about how many hours you got or what position you slept in. It's about something quieter, something that happens before you even close your eyes, a pattern most people don't notice because it doesn't feel like a problem in the moment, but by morning you feel it, and it's been there for longer than you think. This is a story about that pattern, and by the end, you'll understand why your body feels this way. There's a man, let's call him Daniel. Daniel works a regular job, nothing extreme. He's not overworked or burned out in any obvious way. He finishes his day around 6, eats dinner, watches something on TV, goes to bed around 11. On paper, his routine is fine. But every morning, he wakes up exhausted. Not sore, not sick, just drained, like he ran a marathon in his sleep. At first, he thought it was his mattress, so he bought a new one. Didn't help. Then he thought maybe he wasn't sleeping deeply enough. So he tried melatonin, blackout curtains, white noise machines. Still, nothing changed. He'd wake up, look at his phone, see that he'd slept 7 or 8 hours and feel confused because the math didn't make sense. He was doing what he was supposed to do, but his body wasn't responding the way it should. And the worst part wasn't the tiredness itself. It was the guilt, the quiet shame that came with feeling exhausted for no good reason, like he was failing at something as basic as rest. So he stopped talking about it. Because how do you explain to someone that sleep doesn't work for you anymore? One morning, Daniel woke up and just stayed in bed. Not because he wanted to, but because getting up felt impossible. He stared at the ceiling, feeling his chest tighten. His alarm had been going off for 10 minutes. He knew he had to move. He knew he had things to do, but his body felt so heavy, like gravity had doubled overnight. And for the first time, a thought appeared that scared him. What if I'm always going to feel like this? Because it wasn't getting better. It was getting worse. And he couldn't figure out what he was doing wrong. He wasn't staying up late. He wasn't drinking caffeine before bed. He wasn't stressed, at least, not in any way he could name. But something was wrong, and he didn't know how to fix it. So he lay there, feeling the weight of it, the exhaustion, the confusion, the quiet panic. Here's what Daniel didn't realize. Sleep doesn't just restore your body. It processes your day. And if your day never really ends, your body never gets to rest. Think about it. What was Daniel doing before bed? Watching TV, scrolling, letting his mind stay stimulated until the moment he closed his eyes. He thought he was relaxing, but his brain didn't, because relaxation and stimulation aren't the same thing. Your mind needs a bridge between the day and sleep. A few minutes where nothing is demanding your attention, where you're not consuming anything, not content, not conversation, not even thoughts about tomorrow. Just silence. And most people don't give themselves that anymore. So their minds stay active all night, trying to process what never got processed during the day. That's why you wake up tired. Not because you didn't sleep, but because your mind never stopped working. So what changed for Daniel? He started doing something simple. 30 minutes before bed, he stopped consuming. No phone, no TV, no reading articles or watching videos. At first, he didn't know what to do with himself, so he just sat there. In the quiet. It felt strange, uncomfortable even, but after a few nights, something shifted. He noticed his thoughts slowing down, his body softening, and when he went to bed, he fell asleep faster. But more importantly, he stayed asleep, because his mind wasn't still trying to process the day. It had already done that. In those 30 minutes of nothing, you don't need a perfect evening routine. You don't need candles or meditation apps or chamomile tea. You just need a few minutes, where your brain isn't taking in anything new, where it can finish what it started. That's the bridge. And without it, sleep is just your body lying still while your mind keeps running. You're not broken. Your body isn't failing you. It's just trying to finish something you didn't give it time to complete. And once you understand that, mornings start to feel different. Not perfect, not every day, but different, because you're not asking your body to do something impossible anymore. You're giving it what it actually needs. Space, silence, a moment to let the day end before the night begins. So if you've been waking up tired, even after sleeping, maybe tonight, try something. Turn everything off 30 minutes early. Sit with the quiet. Let your mind finish its work and see what happens in the morning. If this made sense to you, let me know in the comments. What's the last thing you do before bed? I'm curious.